is Friday, February 6th, and I am going to take you through a productive day in my life so that you can see the behind the scenes of how I get through all of my tasks and see the chaos, but also the coziness of one of my most productive days. So Fridays are actually my most productive days of the week because I don't have to worry about going to campus, and I also don't worry about prepping for my classes. And I also use Fridays to complete any of the other tasks that I didn't get done in the earlier parts of the week. That way I can go into Saturday and Sunday feeling a little less frazzled. So on my schedule for today, I have 3 hours of writing and 2 hours of those will be spent working on my novel. And then the last hour will be spent working on my nonfiction book proposal. A fun detail about my novel is that I am beginning the 6th draft today. So February 6th for draft 6. I have not touched my novel since December 20th when I ended the 5th draft. Technically, today starts the final pre-querying draft since I plan on starting to query this novel at the beginning, but most likely the end of the summer. So I am really excited to be digging back in and writing or I guess I should say revising my novel. It has taken me 2 years to get to this point, so I am definitely ready to move on to the next phase. For reading, I have scheduled out an hour. The first 30 minutes will be spent reading fiction, and then the second 30 minutes will be spent reading nonfiction. For fiction, I have been reading Tokyo Dreaming by Amiko Jean. And then for nonfiction, I've been reading Playing with America's Dolls by Emily Zaslow. So my other tasks for today, I have to study Korean for 30 minutes. I also need to grade for an hour. And then I plan on doing 60 minutes of admin work. And then I have a 30-minute Zoom call with a fellow book lover, which I am really excited about. And then I need to go on an hour-long walk for my exercise today. I have been trying to complete at least 8,000 steps a day since I spend so many of my hours sitting. Starting in the new year, I had decided that I was going to try to get at least an hour of exercise in every day. So on days when I'm feeling a little less motivated, I go on an hour-long walk, and I think that is an average of 8,000 steps. In other words, I try to get at least 8,000 steps in a day. And then lastly, my final task is I have given myself 15 minutes to post something to social media. What am I going to post really is a question. I'm not sure yet, but I will definitely figure that out before I post it. So when I total up all of these tasks, I get 8 hours and 45 minutes, which probably means it'll take me about 13 to 15 hours to get through everything by the time I factor in breaks and meals. So when it comes to these hours, I actually don't have them booked in my calendar. That system actually doesn't work for me. Instead, when I get up in the morning, I allow my energy to dictate what I do first. But since there are 2 things that are on my calendar, like the 30-minute chat that is booked for 10 a.m., and then I also have my walk listed at 4 o'clock, so that way I am back home before it gets too dark. It is currently 8:37 a.m. and so my goal is to finish all of my tasks by midnight. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am a little under the weather, so we'll see how well I am able to get through all of my tasks today. But I think I can do it. I think I can do it. I have about 75 minutes before that 10 a.m. Zoom call, but I haven't eaten breakfast yet. So what I'm going to do is set my timer for about 60 minutes and then pause perhaps a third of the way, go make breakfast, and then eat. And then so my last pro tip that I use as a productivity hack is that I always set a timer when I'm doing admin tasks. Usually I do my admin tasks in about a 20-minute sprint. So I will do a 20-minute sprint in the morning, another 20-minute sprint sometime later on in the afternoon, and then a final 20-minute sprint in the evening. On other days that aren't Fridays, I obviously end up spending much more time on admin, but since it's Fridays, I usually don't have as much emails to respond to and or to send as I do during other days of the week. So on Fridays, I try my best to limit my admin to only an hour. And I feel like the 20-minute sprints end up making me the most productive when I'm doing my admin work. And that's also really helpful so that I don't get sucked into doing hours of admin work. And that way I am able to get back quickly to doing my other tasks. So with that, let's start with my first 20-minute admin sprint, and then we will get some breakfast. Since it was Friday and still early, there weren't too many emails that I needed to respond to, which was great. But I did register for one of the conferences that I'm presenting at this year, the Black Doll Symposium, which is an online conference hosted by Duke University. It is happening March 13th through the 14th and is free to the public, so I will leave the registration link in the description box below just in case you're interested in attending. This is my first time presenting at the conference, so I needed to send my headshot, a brief bio, a recording release form, as well as registering for the event. And getting all of that done took about 20 minutes, so it was perfect timing. After I was done, I made my usual oatmeal with frozen blueberries and chia seeds, topped with fruits, nuts, dried cranberries, hemp seeds, and toasted coconut flakes. I also add protein powder into the almond milk beforehand so that I can give myself a protein boost in the morning. I then decided to read Tokyo Dreaming for 15 minutes while I ate. Then after I was finished, I did a few more minutes of admin work before jumping on to my Zoom call. That was a really great call, Tycho. If you are watching, thank you for meeting with me. It was so great to learn so much about you and to finally become friends in real life. We ended up talking for an hour, even though we both had scheduled 30 minutes for this call. So I am about 30 minutes behind schedule, but that is totally fine because it was worth every additional minute to be able to talk to someone who loves children's literature as much as I do. I'm feeling like I should do my next 20-minute sprint now since I did get some emails while I was on that call, and there are still a few emails that I need to send out as well. Then I am going to jump straight into doing 30 minutes of grading, and that should take me to about noon, so I will see you in an hour. At noon, I wasn't hungry for lunch just yet, so I stopped to grab a snack of apple and peanut butter. Funny story is that I didn't know that apples and peanut butter could be eaten as a snack until I was in college because this was not a snack that I grew up eating. We ate apples and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but apples and peanut butter was just not a snack we ate in the daily household when I was a kid. So I did my admin work, I graded, and I even got myself a little snack. I am now going to spend the next 60 minutes working on revising my novel. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I have been working on a YA contemporary over the past 2 years. It's a YA contemporary with a very strong romance subplot. I started drafting the novel in November of 2023. I completed the first draft in November 2024, and then I completed the 5th draft in December 2025. So now I am working on the final pre-querying draft, and I am very, very, very excited about that. So for this revision, I am just going to be listening to the novel as if it is an audiobook. I'm going to stay here in my reading nook and leave my computer at my desk, so that way I am not tempted to make any notes. And I've used this process during the drafting as well, especially when I'm listening to certain paragraphs or to certain chapters. Normally, though, I would allow myself to have some sort of notebook to jot down notes so that I wouldn't forget it while I'm listening. But this time I am not going to allow myself to jot down any notes, but just really enjoy listening to the novel as if it is an audiobook. So what I'm going to do is put about 50 pages from Google Docs, which is where I normally write my manuscript, and I'm going to transfer it into Word, and that way I can choose one of the voices in Word to listen to my novel. And again, I have to just convince myself that this is not a time for editing, but really a time to just enjoy all of the work that I have done over the past 2 years to get the novel to where it is today. So let's get ready to listen to my novel for the next hour. Oh, I should also tell you, for those of you who are new, my project is called Project Seoul because the novel takes place in Seoul, South Korea. It is currently at about 120,000 words, and I am trying to get it down to about 90,000 words. So I'm hoping in the next couple of drafts that I am able to cut about 30,000 words, but again, I want to listen to it first before I make any major developmental cuts, because I will be needing to cut scenes, cut words, and potentially even cut and merge characters in order to get my word count down. So let's get started with revising my novel. I might be too confident in saying this, but I actually think that the beginning of my novel is really well done. I'm really glad that I have put this much time into those first 30 pages. So let me back up for a second. I didn't get through all 50 pages. I actually only got through about 29 pages during that hour, which I don't know why I thought 50 pages was an hour, but it was actually about 29. So I ended up getting to chapter 4, or I guess I should say midway through chapter 4 of my novel. And the setting's done really well. The dialogue flows really well. Everything just feels so real, and I don't see where I could cut, although I did make just a few minor edits during that listening session. I got rid of a few unnecessary that's. I think there are maybe about 4 that I flagged and just immediately deleted. And then there was a sentence that was supposed to be a question, and I wrote it as a sentence. So the only edit that I ended up making was I turned a period into a question mark. And then I swear those are the only edits I made during this draft. But other than that, I would say I think it's really well done. I mean, I honestly don't think that there will be many edits within the first 50 to 100 pages. I think most of my edits are going to come from page 100 to 300 because I think I set up the story really well within those first 100 pages. It's just there are a lot more scenes that are sort of kind of perhaps redundant, and scenes that I needed to write out so that I could really understand all of my characters, but not necessarily scenes or multiple scenes of the same conflicts that you as the reader is going to need to read in order to sort of kind of understand the dynamics of all of these characters. So I will do another hour-long sprint later on today, but it is just a little bit after 2 o'clock. So I'm going to break for lunch now and then come back and figure out what my next tasks are. Here is my avocado toast on sourdough, drizzled with olive oil and seasoned with salt and pepper. And then here is my dessert. It is almond milk yogurt with chia seeds, raisins, nuts, and dark chocolate chips. So lunch was delicious. It was nice to have that hour-long break, although I did do some cleaning around my apartment during that time, and I also transferred over the video clips into my hard drive because I am already running out of space in the first, I don't know how many hours it's been, but essentially the first half day of this vlog. Let's see what time it is. It is around 3:15. The day is certainly getting away from me. So as a reminder, I do have it on my calendar to take my walk at 4 o'clock. So I have about 45 minutes until then. So what I am going to do is I'm going to spend the first 30 minutes grading, and then I'm going to spend that last 15 minutes finding something to post on social media. And then I will get up, get ready, and go on my walk. So I will see you in about 45 minutes. I'm teaching 2 classes this semester. One class I have about 15 students, and the other class I have about 30. There were 2 short assignments for one class and 1 short assignment in my other class, so I had about 60 assignments that I needed to grade. Since grading is hard on me mentally, I only grade in small spurts. Then I posted this image on my social media. It's a picture I took yesterday when me and my grad assistant were taking photos for the center's newsletter. The front wall of the office is an open window into the hallway, so people can see us taking photos. At this time, my department chair was walking by. I'm just grateful that my chair is very supportive of the work that I do. Getting up and going outside after grading was the best treat. So I recommend doing a hard task the hour before exercising so that your exercise feels like a nice break, especially if you find it hard to get movement in during the day. On my walks, I'm either listening to K-pop or a Korean listening podcast. Sometimes I'm listening to a friend's long voice note or leaving a long voice note for my friend as well. It just depends on how I'm feeling. After my walk, I did about 30 minutes of stretching, which also includes rolling out my feet and my calves. After stretching, I showered and settled in for 30 minutes of studying Korean. Today, I wanted to practice my speaking, so I pulled up one of the channels that I follow on YouTube. This one is called Small Talk in Korean, and I chose the conversation when checking into a hotel. So I am done studying my Korean. I ended up watching a video about how to check into your hotel. But the really funny thing is that the 2 times I've been to Korea, the concierge speak English, so there's no real reason why I need to learn this particular vocabulary, but I am determined that the next time I go to Korea that I will be able to speak in Korean to everyone, whether that's at the hotel or at the restaurants or wherever I go, perhaps at the museums. So I do want to make sure that I have this vocabulary in my vocabulary set. And going over these conversations are definitely going to motivate me even more, that when perhaps they start speaking to me in English, that I will speak to them in Korean. And I think that's totally fine. I think it's great if I'm being spoken to in English, as long as I build the confidence to be able to speak back to them in Korean. So it is about 8 p.m. now. I do need to make dinner. So my plan is to make dinner. Then I'm going to do my second 15-minute sprint of reading Tokyo Dreaming. And then I will break for dinner and then figure out what to do afterwards. I most likely will then do my 30 minutes of nonfiction reading. And then I can't remember what else is on my list. I think it'll be the nonfiction reading. I also know that I have another hour of listening to my novel. And then what else? We'll see. Either way, let's go make dinner, read, and then we will come back. Or I guess I will come back. For dinner, I ended up making a quick stir fry with oyster mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, spinach, broccoli, and carrots. I let that cook down, then made some rice, and then I set my timer and read for 15 minutes. Here is my stir fry topped with sesame seeds, half an avocado, and drizzled with sweet soy glaze. I actually canceled all of my streaming services last April because I have a bad binging habit. And I wanted to focus this time on finishing my novel. So I only have access to the first 2 episodes of K-dramas on Viki for free. This K-drama that I'm watching is called To My Beloved Thief. I was so tempted to purchase a month subscription after I finished the 2nd episode, but I managed to stay strong. After I submit my manuscript to agents this summer, that's when I'll allow myself to renew my subscription and binge all of the shows that I've missed over the past year. And here is what I ate for dessert: some more trail mix and dark chocolate chips. Hello again. It is now 9:26 and I want to spend an hour working on my nonfiction book proposal. I haven't been able to really spend any time on it over the past couple of days because I had a presentation on campus that I was focusing on and had not had the mental capacity to be working on this book proposal. So I definitely want to spend that hour today getting part of this book proposal done. And then I need to do my 30-minute reading of my nonfiction book. And then the last thing that I have is my 1-hour revision time, which is going to be the easiest thing that I'm going to be doing for the next couple of hours. If that is the case, then I should be done with all of my tasks by midnight like I had thought. I mean, if not, maybe 12:30. So we'll see. I think I'm going to go ahead and get some tea. So again, just so I remember, tea. Then I'm going to work on my nonfiction proposal that I'm going to read, and then I'm going to edit. So I will see you in just a little bit. I'm not sure when I will break, but I will come to you during the next break. Hello, it is 10:57. I finished working on the proposal at 10:30 and then took a 15-minute break, got myself some chamomile tea for my reading that I'm going to do. I'm actually really grateful that I stayed up to get the writing done because I actually was in a very good writing flow, and I'm tired physically, but I'm not tired mentally, which is often my issue this late at night because my brain is less editorialized this time of night. It's actually pretty freewheeling when it comes to writing. And so I become more creative when I'm not as editorial or I'm not doing as much self editing as I normally would do when I'm not tired, even though physically I am. My brain is just like, oh, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I feel like this is the fatal flaw of being a writer for those of us who are more creative in the nighttime or in the evening as opposed to during the day. So I am going to get a half-hour reading done, even though I thought I was going to be done with all of my tasks by midnight, but it looks like I'll be going until about 12:30 since it is just about to hit. It's currently 10:59 p.m., so it's just about to hit 11. I will read until 11:30, and then I will listen to my novel for the last hour, but I'm not going to sit and listen to it. I actually need to clean my kitchen. I left out essentially everything from dinner, and so I need to put the dishes away, and that'll be good. So that way, when I wake up in the morning, all of my dishes are put away, and the pans that I used for dinner are clean and out of my way, and I can start new. I don't know if there are those of you who prefer to wake up to a clean kitchen. I would say generally, depending on the day, well, I would say probably it's half and half for me. There are some days where I just feel relatively compelled to clean the kitchen before I go to sleep. And then there are some days, I guess most of the days that I wait until morning are the days when I'm not teaching. So, like on teaching days, when I'm generally going to campus earlier in the morning, then I will have cleaned up the kitchen the night before. On days when I am not getting up as early and I have more time in the morning, then it feels better to have a little bit more of a leisurely morning and then be able to clean the kitchen before I start the day. But because I'll have that additional hour of listening, and I think it'll just make me feel even more like it's an audiobook if I'm doing something else while I'm listening, again, as opposed to sitting at my computer thinking about all the edits that I need to be making. Or maybe I won't, maybe I'll feel the same way I did with the earlier listen, that there weren't really too many things. But it sort of kind of puts me into the mood of thinking how people will be consuming this book while they're performing other tasks. So it'll make me feel like that as well, like it's a real audiobook. So let me get my reading, enough yapping, and I will see you in just a little bit. So I've finished reading, and now my last task of the day is to listen to my novel. I am going to put my hair up, get my wireless headphones. I also need to brush my teeth and get ready for bed. It is 11:36 p.m., and so I am not really going to be roaming, but probably more like tiptoeing around the house. I'm going to end the vlog here. Thank you so much for spending the day with me, and let me know if you enjoyed the vlog. I'd be happy to do more productive yet cozy Friday vlogs if you would like to see more of them. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.